Hello, everybody. It's Big Al with some more content for Lord of the Rings Rise to War. So, there's been a lot of questions about how to counter certain things. So, I'm going to talk about just a few different ways, different units, commanders, things like that. Um, it is my belief that evil has a very big advantage. To me, stuns and madness are just the RNG from it is just sickening when you get into the higher levels. I believe that stun is the dominating force. I think dominating is more, or I think stun is more dominant than madness lately, so it seems. So there's certain ways to try to combat some of that. And evil commanders have more, there's more evil commanders that give stun or madness. So there's certain ways to try to combat that. First, I'm going to talk about a simple one. Okay, there is a set effect, and it is called Power Overwhelming. So, this formation's damage received minus 10% when in a stun or badness state. It used to be that this set effect people thought were completely useless. I was one of them. But I think this is something that is probably going to be coming around a lot more often. But that's just my opinion. Next, we're going to talk about troops. There are a couple of units that do help against madness. One of them is the Shire ponies. And I know I'm not going to get all of them because I can't remember all of them off the top of my head, but I am going to list some of them. So, Shire ponies. Um, where is it? Right here, Pure of Heart. Each round it ignores madness, and it's a 50% chance to remove madness from one allied unit. So this helps the units, but not the commanders. But it's something. Because as you know, if you keep your troops alive, your commanders stay alive longer, you can do more damage. I do not believe that I have them unlocked. Nope. There are snaggas. So let me go into the main hall. And we will look at the snaggas. So, the snaggas are unaffected by madness. Okay, so there's another one. Now we also have stun, like I was talking about. Those two were for madness. Now we're going to talk about stun. March Wardens. This one, nope, it is this one. Ignore stun and defense stat +4. So it ignores stun, and that's just for that unit. So now I'm going to start talking about the stuns. There are certain ways to get around the stuns. Gil has how to get around evade, which is another way of countering. Okay, Gil has evade, Undying has evade, Boromir has evade, Harrigan. Okay, and there's a couple others that help their formations to evade damage. There is a skill called Keen Eye, and Keen Eye ignores the target's evasion. So, like when you're playing against somebody that has the Undying, this is a good skill to have because you're still going to be damaging them. Or same thing with Gil. Okay, but also you have to keep in mind if you run Gil and say you get stunned, you can do damage to yourself if you're in that first 3 rounds. So there's a couple commanders that have Keen Eye as well that I want to talk about. Gimli, when he gets his relic, as long as he has 50 focus, which I believe is just about automatic at those levels, he gains the Keen Eye skill. So there's another good one. Now we also have both of the Aragons have Keen Eye in their Strider skill. So there's another one to get through the evasions. As far as just straight countering the madness, there is no real way to just straight counter it. You can kind of steer it in certain ways when you're using like agility and things on your Sauron, your Saruman, things like that. You can kind of steer where that's going to hit. So there's a couple of ways to get around evasion, how to get around madness a little bit, how to get around stun. And I'm sure I'm missing a few other ways, but I wanted to put this out there and get just a couple things for people to see. So I hope this benefits some people. And as always, make the most out of what you got.